Welcome to Golden Goal TV. Yes, it's a Monday night, which means one thing only. It means the Premier League review show, and it's a double whammy this week. More so because it's a special. We've got midweek Premier League games as it's nearly Christmas. Yes, we can use the C word after the 1st of December. It's officially available. So, yes, we will review the weekend's action, but also in between that, preview some of the midweek games taking place from tomorrow through Wednesday and Thursday. So that's the plan. I am back after a few weeks off with guide dog training, but it's all good. We're back now. Thank you very much to Jonesy and Sam for producing over the last few weeks. So yes, welcome panel. We've got a few people on. George, how's it going?
I'm good, mate. Not too bad. Another weekend, top of the perch, looking down, sat back, watched Man City, Tottenham. That was a
Yeah,
bit of a perfect game for me. Put my feet up. That was like in a win-win situation for me because like every time Tottenham scored, I was like, shit happens, didn't it? And then City had scored, then I was like,
we'll get
this
onto
tip of
that.
the bird.
We'll get onto that game and how much Tottenham helped Arsenal out. So yeah, we'll talk about that certainly a bit more. Joining us also, Abdi. Abdi, mate, how's it going?
Not too bad. How are you, mate?
I'm all good. I'm all good. We will talk Manchester United too. So yeah.
Do we have to?
Yes, that is how this show works. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but don't worry, you're not first up, so you can rest a little bit. And joining us back again, I think you were on Friday, but you're back, Johnny.
Hello, good, thank you.
Yeah, good to have you. Good to have you back. And yeah, we'll talk one of your 6,000 teams today at least. So you can bank on that. You can bank. You'll have something to contribute. So what I'm going to start us off with is once I can get to my document. First, let's start with you, George, to talk about Arsenal Wolves. So it finished Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. That clean sheet that many fantasy people thought they nearly had did not last, with Wolves scoring that last minute goal. George, your thoughts on the game?
In the words of a famous person from the WhatsApp group, when that Wolves goal went in, all I done was. So yeah, fantasy went out the window for me. Nicky P weren't happy. Well, I think he was actually. It didn't really involve him, but we went like 2-0 up, and I thought, oh, mate, 3-4. Well, I'm not being ridiculous here. We should have been 4-0 up at half time. Jesus missed a couple of chances. Trossard missed another chance. My guy Eddie Nketiah, the amazing Eddie Nketiah, how he missed, mate, I don't know. Honestly, like it's a big thing right in front of you, and he hits the inside of the post. I'm just like, no. So I didn't really enjoy the game, mate. To be fair, it was too cold. I'm not gonna lie. Like my ear was hurting and everything. I was
It
like,
was
this is.
quite freezing, to be fair.
It was like -2, mate. Like, and I'm just like, oh.
I took the
I
dog.
got,
I took the dog out in the morning. It's like, no, it's freezing.
yeah, and I'm just like, heated seats, Arsenal. Come on, like you've done everything else. Like, but yeah, I thought we played first half. I thought we playing quite fluid, like we did in Europe. I think people sometimes forget it does take out of you playing twice in them high intensity games. I know Wednesday was well, it was like playing Watford or one of Johnny's 6,000 teams or something. But I only wanted to get that dig in there because not about Johnny. I've been listening to a Troy Deeney podcast and he keeps having to go Arsenal. So yeah, that was my thinking on that. And plus, like Abdi says, I've turned into a bit of a troll on Twitter. So
Very own Twitter wind up.
yeah, mate, I've been smug and arrogant for the last 2 weeks. It's been good.
As long as it don't come back to bite you on the arse later on in the season, mate.
I've been smug and arrogant, but I've not said we're going to win the league. So
True. You're not. You've not
really,
done
because
something that
can't bite me. My name's George, not Austin. Um, so I thought, and then the second half happened. They just kind of switched off. Or I wouldn't say switched off, but it was like they went from like third, fourth gear to like 1. And then Zinchenko. Going forward, he's really good. And he has been good, but defensively, mate, he's shocking. He really is. It's like watching a United defender. Like, that's how bad he in that second half. He just does things he shouldn't. And I'm sure Johnny and Abdi can know how that feels watching their team at the minute. Like, but just don't flip and mess around with the ball in the box. Just boot it out. Why are you doing that? And I was saying this at the game. Like, you're playing a dangerous game. 2-0 is always a very dangerous lead.
Is
and
it?
I wouldn't say it's as dangerous as.
I thought if you go up in the first 20 minutes, 2-0 up, game over.
No,
I wouldn't say it's game over if you're 2-0 up
No,
in
I'm
the
just
first
taking.
20
I'm
minutes.
taking the piss.
I've just got what he said. I just got what he said. That is clever for you, mate. I'll give you that one. So, give everyone a bit of context. Certain team was playing in Europe against Galatasaray. I think they went. Did he go 2-0 up?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They had a
And
they had a 2-goal lead twice in the game.
And I
Twice
said,
they
I said, this is game over. And Abdi told me to shut up in the group.
Politely.
Yeah, he did say please. And then obviously I turned it off because I thought it was game over. And then Ziyech
Let's
scored
not talk about it, man. That was a shocking thing.
We
but,
will something Champions League, I'm
the
sure.
reason I say 2-0 is a bit of a dangerous lead on a serious note is they get a goal, they're back in it.
Exactly.
And that's what happened in the Wolves game. Like, we were kind of hanging on towards the end, I'll be honest. But it's what Wolves do, mate. You know what I mean? Like, they absorb pressure. You look at Tottenham against Wolves. They absorbed it most of the game, and bang, they've got good players. But looking back later in the season, I think that'll be a big result because Wolves take points at other teams. So no games around Christmas are going to be easy. I think we all watched enough football to know that. But I just go back to, if you put them chances away, it don't become difficult. And that's what Arsenal seem to do. But they've always done that. So I was happy for Saka as well, getting a goal. I feel like he needed that because he hasn't scored for a little while, and it's nice to see Erdegaard back doing what he was doing before his injury. So it's another win. Do you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't rely on other teams dropping points, but when they do, you have to maximise that.
Oh, yeah, that's key.
And it is honestly, it is. Yeah. People are saying it's too early to talk about stuff like that. I don't think it is, but
It's never too early when you're chasing teams like Manchester City.
I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, we're going to win it," because I still think there's a couple of away games that I don't fancy us in that I think can be the difference. And we've seen Man City go on their 14, 15 game winning streak stuff. Like, we've got like, people laugh here. We've got a very, very horrible December. Like, obviously we've got Luton away tomorrow, which isn't as easy as people might think. I'm not saying we'll lose or anything, but
What do you think is going to happen at Luton?
Well, we've never beat Luton.
Okay.
I found this out. I found this out earlier. We played them 10 times and never beat them.
That's a really weird one. Okay.
Yeah, I think the last time we played them was probably 1930 something. But like, we played them. I think we drew 6 and lost 4, like, in all competitions. So we. I was like, of all the teams, you know what I mean? I was like, all right. But I think we'll win because I think obviously they'll put out quite a strong team. I think they have to. I'd say that's like 2, maybe 2-1, 2-0, something. But then, like, the games we've got coming up, like Aston Villa away, I'm not looking forward to that. But you don't know what Villa you're going to.
I was going to say, you have to, with Villa, it depends very much.
And then we have got Brighton
at home.
Yeah, it's at Villa as well. And then we've got Brighton at home. Then we've got Liverpool away, West Ham, at home. So like it's not. I fancy us in the West Ham game and potentially Brighton. Liverpool's the test for me.
Hmm.
Villa, Liverpool, them two away games. As bluntly, if you want to win the title, you got to get results there.
You've got to beat the teams that are up there with you, and you need to maximise when they drop points at the end of the day. So
And we've seen like with Liverpool, like they concede. Like I don't know if Alisson will be back there, then he probably will. But you just, I don't know. With Liverpool, well, it's just mad how winning the title probably is going to go down to Liverpool away. I can't believe I'm going to say this: Liverpool away, City away, Tottenham away, and United away. I honestly think it's going down. If we don't win, or if you don't get 9 points at least out of them, and I know people laugh at that, but Arsenal United's just different, especially at Old Trafford, and you don't know what United are going to be like at that
To be
time.
fair,
I don't think anyone knows what
literally,
United are going to be like.
it's the penultimate game of the season. So by then, if you're still in that race, then afterwards it will be a big game. But if you're not in and about there, then
Yeah,
that
that's
game
what I
doesn't
mean.
really mean much.
That's what I mean. It
So
doesn't
we'll
matter.
we'll see.
So you just got to. That's what I keep saying to other Arsenal fans. You just win game by game for me. It's not like if we like I think City have got Villa in the week, so
They do indeed.
that's a interesting game as well.
Abdi, let's move on to you. You know, Arsenal got win against Wolves, not a clean sheet, but a win to win. You know, what do you think what's going to happen? Luton, Arsenal.
Yeah, win's a win. They should have probably killed the game off a lot earlier. They have been clicking into sort of gear at the moment, and picking up a bit of steam, but maybe them not being able to put Wolves away more convincingly in terms of the scoreline. Um, I don't know. It might be a bit of a warning sign. I don't know, to just sort of step up in terms of trying to put teams away, because these are the kind of games where you could easily slip up and get complacent, and not to get complacent in terms of you had a big result in the week against Lons 6-0. I personally say that was overkill. That was necessary. 4-0 up after like 20 something minutes. Unnecessary, man. Go home at that point. You already
Are you
through.
only saying because
Okay?
you couldn't manage against Galatasaray?
No, no, no. But I was just saying, listen, they didn't have to be greedy. They could have given some of those goals to us on loan. We would have taken those. But no.
Well, we tried
Um,
to, Abdi. We
as
tried to. Lucas Torreira tried to score for you. What more do you want?
he did, he did.
Forgot
As
he played
for
there.
the game tomorrow, um, I, 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 I think it will be an interesting one. I don't think it will be. It won't be an easy game. Like, they're not going to sweep them aside by 4-5-0. But I don't think it's going to be that tough either. Like, I think it's just going to be a middle of the road game for them. I feel like they're just going to do what they need to do, and get over the line, and sort out, really. It can be an issue. It could be a problem game, but I feel like Arsenal have come beyond that point where these kind of games are like banana peels for them. They're not that sort of Arsenal that you'd say, "Oh, Luton, cold Tuesday night." I don't fancy them. That this could be one that they slip up in. I think they've moved beyond that now. I think they're getting the games where they need to be picking up their results and just doing their job. And I feel like tomorrow's going to be one of those nights where they just do their job and get the 3 points. I think it'll be like 2-0 or something.
I will say a player that I feel like doesn't get as much credit, and everyone bands on about Saliba like being
Tommy
fit, and all that. but,
Yasu.
but Tomiyasu is one of the main reasons we probably didn't win the title last season as well. Like, and I don't think, and the reason I say that because he can play left back, right back, wherever, and I think he's been playing quite well. Like he went down injured yesterday, but apparently that's just precautionary. But then old Benny Blanco can come in. Um, so, but yeah, Tomiyasu, like I think we'll miss him in January because it's the Asia Cup as well, isn't it? With the AFCON.
Mm.
Um, so Tottenham's one player, he'll be gone as well, but he won't be able to score own goals then. But then, but yeah, like you think, like, and I think with the Zinchenko issue, I was having this conversation with Jonesy the other day. Like, what people forget is Timber was brought in probably to play that left back, like that. I say like the John Stones role, but from the left back sort of position. But Zinchenko has had to play there because of the injury. But
Yeah.
I can see Zinchenko getting moved forward fingers crossed, Timber comes back and he's like be able to play how he does. But then I wouldn't be surprised if they bring someone else in. And I just think that's the way to go forward because Zinchenko defensively is not at it. And one person I will give a shout out is my boy Kai. Come on, laid on the ball in the last 2 minutes. I thought it was brilliant. He just laid on the ball. I thought that was like the sort of like shit Housley Xhaka would do or something. So yeah, I think it's quite positive, at the minute. Like we've got games coming up. Like I don't think we're deluded. Well, some of them are, but like them people that sit in Spain in their dressing gowns. Like I think we know we're going to lose, like or drop points in the rest of the season. But I think the difference is you've got to think last season we dropped points at teams like Southampton, West Ham, and teams like that alongside with these bigger results. So you just got to keep doing what you're doing. And it's like Abdi, I agree with him. He said it's a different team. Like defensively, we look a lot more solid. And apparently, none of the team that played on Saturday were born the last time Arsenal ever played Luton. So I'm sure that bad run won't last that long. Hopefully.
Well, there's some good stats there. Let's move on to Johnny, shall we? So, Johnny, you've heard what everyone else thinks. Do you have anything else to kind of add on this, or what's your prediction for the Luton game?
Yeah.
I guess the Wolves game it went down kind of how I said it would on Friday. I think I predicted 2-1 would be the score. I mean, Arsenal perhaps didn't. They kind of took their foot off the pedal and perhaps tried to control the game a bit, and not many teams are going all out for the kill this year. So they perhaps could come to bite them if teams keep playing like that. I think perhaps it has with Man City in a few results this year as well, because they're not really going for the kill. In terms of the Luton game, they're not necessarily the easiest team to beat, but they don't score lots of goals. But Arsenal should have enough to beat them. So maybe I predict 2-0, 2-1.
Fair enough. Just to give you a brief FA Cup update, AFC Wimbledon are 2-0 up on Ramsgate. If anyone's interested there, come on, Ramsgate.
A nice, easy cup draw for most teams.
Yeah. So we move on now to Newcastle Man United. By the way, Wolves played Burnley in the midweek. That game could be interesting, bearing in mind Burnley's result over the weekend. That game could.
I was quite happy for Burnley, like not because Sheffield United, but all these, like from what I've been seeing on social media, all these absolute idiots who've been slagging off Company. Like, what, fair play, he stuck to his guns, he got a massive result. Like I know it's only Sheffield United, but that's a massive result for them.
For Burnley, who were more often thought of the same level as Sheffield United in the Premier League this season, to get that win, I think that's a statement win.
I think Burnley. Here's the thing: I think Burnley had like a bit more respect than Sheffield United. Like, I don't think everyone thought they'd easily slap Burnley. Like, I feel like they were thinking they'd get more of a game from Burnley than they would with Sheffield United. And speaking of Sheffield United, Paul Heckingbottom either has been or will be sacked.
I think will be sacked. At the moment, there was no official sacking.
And apparently Chris Wilder is going to come back to take the job.
Nice. Yeah, I said that in the ground. I said it as a throwaway comment, to be honest.
That's literally what it is. Chris Wilder's set to take the job.
Interesting.
We'll see. We'll see if that happens.
What happens there? So, Abdi, let's start with you on the Newcastle Manchester United. It finished Newcastle 1, United 0.
Yep.
Harry Maguire had a goal taken off. A goal scored
He
by
did.
Gordon.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, what? Yeah, Man United lose. Teeth back in. Man United lose. What's your thoughts, Abdi?
It was actually Anthony's goal, but Harry Maguire was the in an offside position and touched the ball in. So yeah, unfortunate, but hey ho. It was quite simply a 1-0 battery, in the politest way I could put it. We absolutely stunk out the joint, and we're back to that phase with United where we're just not putting in the shift, we're not putting in the effort, and we're just getting out fought, out hustled, out muscled, just outplayed by everyone. Well, not by everyone, but in this specific game, um, and it's just not good enough. There's not a lot I could really say. I'm very fatigued with just United in general at the moment, so there's not a lot I can really say that I haven't said repeatedly before. It was just a horrendous game and an awful one to watch. Will it be? Will I be there for the Wednesday game? Of course I will, because still United and it's part of the fandom. But it's just boring. It's just boring, man.
So what do you think will happen on the Wednesday? Chelsea, Man United. Chelsea not
Uh,
always the most consistent team.
I Here's the thing. Now I know that what I watched, most people would still be in that negative mindset. I still am. But against Chelsea, I think it'll either be one of two results. It'll either be just a draw, or I think United will win. As just that's the only way I can really put it. It could be famous last words. I don't think we're going to be losing. It could be famous last words, but in as a prediction, I think it'll either be a win or a draw for United. Um, we tend to be okay against Chelsea. Chelsea don't really have the best record at Old Trafford, so that's what I'm really counting on. And it's at home. We haven't played at home for a while, so um, it's good to get back home for a bit. And Chelsea are a mixed bag. You don't know what you get from Chelsea. They sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit, really. So, but at the moment, they're doing well for themselves. Good win against Brighton, but just as easily, they did go down to 10 men, and they did go down 10 men against Newcastle the game before. So it's one of those ones you don't know what you're going to get with Chelsea. They could come in there and absolutely bang in the goals, or they could absolutely just ship a lot of goals. But Chelsea at the moment, they are the great entertainers. Every game in their last 4 games has averaged about 5.75 goals, which is crazy. So yeah, we I don't know what we're going to get from Chelsea, but for United, they need to sort themselves out. It could be an opportunity for them to bounce back because a lot of people are on their backs at the moment, and it could be a big result, but we shall see. We shall see.
What
If whatever happens, I wouldn't be surprised. I genuinely, if we lose, not surprised. If we win, not surprised. If we draw, not surprised. Not much that United could do right now could surprise me really, unless they absolutely gone on like a flipping unbeaten for the rest of the season, and just win every game and somehow get themselves into the title race. But that's not happening. So yeah,
think
um,
Abdi, your alarm clock's ringing. Time to wake up.
I'm awake, mate. I'm awake, and I've been awake for a long time.
So, Johnny, I want to ask you here, obviously about your predictions for the Chelsea game and stuff, but also speaking of Newcastle and Man United, apparently Newcastle are rumored to make a shock move for David De Gea, due to the
Don't
Nick.
touch my days.
What are your thoughts on that, Johnny?
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst if they made it. I just don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I don't think they really need him. They've got a.
Oh,
No, I think their backup goalkeeper's decent. Newcastle's. He's proven in the Premier League already. When he came to Man United, Newcastle recalled him, didn't they, last time? So I think he's a decent deputy to have. So I don't think they need another keeper.
George.
Here's the thing. Before you go to George quickly, I just want to say something I just come across. I wasn't sure. I saw it earlier. I wasn't sure how true it is, but I'm saying it now from
Hmm.
the actual source. Uh, Sky Sports News understands that Eric Ten Hag has lost half of the dressing room. Apparently, support of half of the dressing room. Now, I don't know where they're getting that from. they could they could have sources, maybe like
Yeah,
ketchup,
tomato.
HP. It's one of those ones. But I feel
Mm.
like we're back to the same sort of position that we were a couple of years ago, where all the leaks come out again and people just talking absolute shit and not really focused on what needs to be done and just doing the actual jobs. Um, I think it will eventually result in Ten Hag losing his job because these bunch of players, we know what happens. I know Ten Hag has spent and brought in his own players, but at the same time, it's just like something within that dressing room is still festering. It can go good for a bit, and we've seen it last season. We thought we were back on track, but I you can't really buy into it until you see it for a long term, continuous success with United in terms of just absolutely just getting their heads down and stopping the circus. It's just more really just unnecessary bullshit that we don't need, and it's frustrating. But that's the sad state of my club at the moment.
Okay, George, let's get your thoughts.
Oh, where to start?
Mm.
The
I-
beginning.
one thing, if I was a United fan, that would shock me is Marcus Rashford, remembering he's a professional footballer.
Mhm.
I don't think he's realised that he is recently. I thought he was a bit of a joke. Um, from what I see the other day, like he didn't play in the week because of suspension. I thought he might have. I know he's been getting a lot of criticism from people like on Sky Sports, but yeah, Jamie Carragher said he's like the English Martial, so that was quite funny.
Mm.
Martial's just
But,
catching unnecessary strays in that section.
yeah, I don't know. Like, there's something really amiss at the club. Obviously, we know the stuff above it. I wouldn't really pay much attention to Sky Sports because they're probably still breaking that from the same source that said it 2 years ago, mate. Like that's what Sky Sports are like.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I kind of wanted United to get something against Newcastle because they're really irritating me at the minute. Like I was saying this. I think Arsenal Newcastle is going to be the new rivalry. Like, I've been saying this for a while now. Um, so I was hoping that'd be a bit of a draw, but United let me down. To be honest, I didn't watch the game, but from what Abdi said and other people, like it don't sound like it was great. Um, it probably will ultimately end in Ten Hag losing his job. I was listening to I know it's not to do with what we're talking about, but Steve Bruce and people like that were talking on this podcast, and he was saying the amount of managers that media get the sack is like it's probably about 80%. And he's right. Like, what are Man United going to gain from sacking Ten Hag? I don't really see what they're going to gain and who they would get. Um, and that's not a dig at Manchester United fans or nothing, but like, what?
No, they get them. Some of them are just idiots.
Well, like, what are they going to get? Ten Hag's a very good manager,
Mm.
like, but it's like he's going for a meal at Harvester. He walks in and realizes there's KFC on the menu. Like, it's not. Like he's what is he meant to work with? He's got an 80 million fidget spinner up front who don't do nothing. You got like his hands are tied. Like the defense that he has to work with. I know Shaw's back now, but Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, all these people. There's so many players there that are just not Manchester United players. And Anana, well, that just I don't know where to start with
One
it.
of the best Premier League keepers, according to Ten Hag.
Yeah, maybe about 20 years ago. I think Tom Heaton's better than him. Like, I don't know. Like, but it's just toxic. Like you hear about the media stuff, all these stupid leaks. All I would say to the level-headed United fans is this rumor of a leak's been going on for a long time. Look at the same players from when it was mentioned then and when it has. If that was my club, and I know Mikel would, he'd kick them out the door before they even hit the floor. Like, you can't have people like that. So I know I feel like we're repeating stuff, it's ripping it apart and starting again, but I don't think sacking Ten Hag is the way. Um, I don't even know. Like, I
Yeah,
feel
it's
sorry for certain.
easy.
It's I feel sorry for specific players because like Luke Shaw's just come back. He's probably looking at this. And no, what the hell? Can I go and tear another hamstring or something? And I'm just like, and that's not wishing injury on him, but he's probably thinking like, what the fuck? um, Chelsea, like Abdi said, this whatever Chelsea turns up. Apparently Chelsea are back now because Reece James is back. That's what I got told today by a Chelsea fan.
Well, Reece James is suspended. Spoiler alert.
And that's what I thought, but I was like, mate, Reece James will probably put an hamstring and go and watch Lauren lose on Sunday. So
I was gonna say Reece James might get himself injured. To be honest, bookies stopped
um,
taking bets on that.
I don't know. Like, it does seem like a long time since United have played at home as well. I can't remember the game, but
Luton, where
what was
we
that?
stunk out the joint as well.
He still won though, didn't he? I suppose.
1-0.
Yes.
Yeah, a win's a win, especially for you guys. Any win you can get is a.
Well, it's a big 6 points,
We,
isn't it, mate? Like,
we
you know what I
don't
mean?
do in draws, mate. We don't do in draws. Wins or losses. That's all that matters.
Obviously, they had that 6 pointer game against Luton, so
We're nowhere near Luton, mate. We're closer to you guys than we are to Luton.
mate, you ain't getting near us. Just yeah.
No, I'm just saying we're
I'm
closer.
just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying as well. I'm not
Okay,
saying
right, yeah.
But I think they'll probably beat Chelsea. Just because it's home, with all this crap coming out about him losing the dressing room and that. Rashford will probably play well now that I've slagged him off.
Rashford probably won't even play, mate. Not the way he was playing.
But like, it's so hard to say, mate, because like you say, like they got smashed against Newcastle's reserves, Chelsea, and then they beat Brighton. But I think they went 3-1 up, didn't they, against Brighton, and then Gallagher got sent off. I think
2-1,
was
and
it
then after Gallagher sent off.
Yeah, so it's hard that maybe United will edge it, but it won't be much. It'll be like a 2-1 probably. But that's why I asked United fans who fall for Ten Hag get sacked. If he's getting sacked, who do you bring in? Because
Well, it's
I
always
can't
a question to
anyone.
anyone who wants to manage.
Here's the thing: people at this point, all they just want to do is get rid of him, and then afterwards do what?
You can't get rid of
No,
someone.
I know. But here's the thing: they have no solution after that. They're like, get anyone, get this, get that. I'm just like, doesn't
In
really
that case,
change anything.
Bruce for Man United.
Doesn't really change
Well,
anything,
like
does it?
on the joke, all jokes aside, they get rid of Ten Hag, and people say about Steve Bruce, like why not? Like, because if these fans think, oh, sacking a manager works, it don't matter what manager's there. You could have Guardiola or Prime Ferguson there at the minute. I don't think anything changes, apart from they might get up the table a little bit, and that's no disrespect to Fergie, because one of the best ever managers that football's ever seen. And being an Arsenal fan, that's not easy for me to say, and people understand why. But he wouldn't do nothing much different with this team because it's not. He's working. He's working with one arm, like tied behind his back. I can't really express it anymore. Like for me, the only way Man United move forward, it isn't Harry Potter's dad coming in and paying a little bit of money. Then Glazers need to look at that front door, walk out it, and don't go back. Complete breakaway from the Glazers, because otherwise, it's just going to go on and on and on and on. Like, and I sound passionate about it, but I don't like it. Don't affect me. But seeing like how Abdi and other people have to what shit they have to put up with every week. How can the Glazers not see that? What apart from the money? And there ain't even money there now.
They don't care, mate. They just don't.
But there's
That
not money there
you
now.
saw
Do you
the
know what I
new
mean?
TV deal get announced today. That's all they're in it for, mate. The new TV money, bang,
But you
get that
get what I mean?
increase.
There's not the money there now that there was. So can't they?
Thing
Why
is,
don't they
thing
just cut
is,
their losses?
they need to understand that the more that they damage and tarnish the Manchester United name, it would literally be that, just a name. We wouldn't be able to get by. The TV, like the amount of games will be on TV will dry up. The amount
Yeah,
of money and revenue and sponsorship deals, they'll dry up. But at the same time, maybe like it eventually will dwindle. But United at the moment just need to figure out that if you're more like on the pitch, if you're successful, the amount of money that goes up just by the sheer because United are back and successful would be tenfold. It would be astronomical at that point. Like you'd be shitting money out your ass pretty much. You know, you have so much money you wouldn't know what to do with it. So at the moment they're just content, and we're just waiting for see what happens with Ratcliffe and his crew. They haven't still yet to announce that. Saw a report this morning saying that it's been penciled in for start of next week. So we'll see what happens there. But
you'll pull the rest.
it's,
You'll pull the
it's
rest.
not gonna it's not gonna be a fun time. I've long accepted this season is gonna be a tough one. And just I'm not letting them really affect my mood these days. I'm just like, if we win, we win. If we lose, okay, on to the next one. You know, it is what it is. I've accepted a lot of things from this year, this season in United. I've accepted that we're out of the Champions League, and I've accepted that we're probably not going to get top four. So just
Mate,
the sooner people learn that and accept that, then the easier things become. You know.
I just
Anyway.
think the final point before we move on is the way United could end up going if they're not careful is they'll end up their better players will go, and then they've got to replace them. Like
Mm-hmm.
they,
Well, do
they
they even have any good players?
yeah, I think like you can't. I think it's really hard at the minute. Like I think Rashford. I know what I've said about him, but
I don't think he's good enough to win you a title. To be honest, I mean, I just don't think it's the creative side to his game. If he's not scoring, what is he doing? He doesn't fit Ten Hag's system. He doesn't press well enough.
for me,
Nor does Martial. So,
I wouldn't turn my nose up if Arsenal got Rashford.
well, yeah, but you've already got Saka, so he'd be a good
He,
addition.
but he
But
wouldn't play. He'd play on the left, wouldn't he? Rashford.
well,
He,
yeah.
Rashford and Martin. Like I think it's hard to say that these players because they were good enough. Maybe they're not good enough to win titles. You're in that gap, but there's not a lot of players that are good enough to win titles. They have to. You have to break through and develop them. So, like, I'd say Rashford. I think Hoyland's got talent. I think he's only 20, isn't he? 2021. I think.
Yeah, he's young.
I don't think you've got a lot of players that are that good, but they're a lot better than they should be because the way they're going, there's not even anything to say they'll get Europa, and that's not kicking you guys while you're down. Like, because you say you take the top four would be City, Arsenal, in whatever order, Liverpool, and let's just say Newcastle. But then you got Villa. The way Villa, that was hard. That was hard to say Newcastle. But like,
Well, I thought you were trying to not say Spurs, but okay.
no, mate, I'm not worried about them. 1 point out of 12. I'd say even them and Villa are better than United at the moment.
Yeah.
So that obviously I know there's one more spot because there's 5 in the Champions League, isn't there? Is that if that's this? But
I
like,
mean, with the way Newcastle and Man United are going, that might not be a thing because we're doing so poor. It's based on who's doing well in Europe, and if we're not doing that well, then it's going to affect it.
but practically,
There
yeah.
are other teams to do well. Like if Villa go far, Liverpool go far, Brighton go far, and Arsenal and City go far, then it should even itself out. But still,
But practically, you get my point, is what I mean. Like,
yeah.
if Man United miss out on Europe this season, that's horrendous. like on and off the pitch.
Yep.
Like, and that's what I'm trying to say. It could be a very, very dark alley that they. It would remind me of Arsenal under Wenger when all we was doing was selling our best players. Like when we sold Van Persie to United, when we sold Nasri and all that lot, when we got raided by City, that could happen. And because I don't think Man United have got the money, and I'll be honest, I don't. Their name goes before them. I agree with that still, but they're really not the luxurious attraction that they was.
No,
No, I
Well,
mean they're probably just.
we could talk all day about United, so
Yeah,
I'd rather we just move on because you know.
Well, I think they
I,
should just copy Arsenal. They had a good model for building their team back. And
I
Liverpool, they probably need to just follow a model like that instead of just buying star players who we don't really
we
need.
shall see because things should hopefully change with the Ratcliffe signing, not signing, but
Possibly.
his implementing taking the football side of things away from the Glazers. So
Well,
we shall see. But anyway,
Move us,
hopefully works his magic.
we'll move us on to Liverpool next. And Liverpool Fulham finished 4-3 to Liverpool, which I don't think anyone expected, really, Fulham to score.
maybe 4-0.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected 3 goals from Fulham, but I guess, George, it could have had something to do with the fact that Alisson wasn't playing for Liverpool. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, could do. I think the biggest shock is Salah, idiot, only got an assist. I was fuming with him. 4-3 and he 4 goals and he only gets an assist, mate. I was
He
like,
did score, but blame Luis Diaz because he was standing in offside position. So
well, blame Luis Diaz. He's an idiot and all.
yeah, there you go.
I was kind of hoping it would stay 3-0 at the same time.
I was hoping it stayed 3-2.
Well, yeah. I think obviously Alisson not being there is a big loss because it was Alisson. I think he affects them defensively. I don't think Liverpool have been that strong. I don't think any team really has been that great defensively this season. Like not clean sheets wise. Do I think Fulham has scored 3 at Anfield? No, not at all. But fair play to them. They played quite well, and Liverpool done what Liverpool do. I think it's hard. Like when you go from having Alisson to Kelleher, it's a big difference, isn't it? Like he's the Irish number 2. Like I think the Southampton keeper who's in the Championship plays for Ireland ahead of him. So he don't get to play much, does he? Like he plays in the cup games, and then obviously when Alisson's injured, yeah, the one I'd find frustrating if I was a Liverpool fan, it's got to be Nunes. Oh, the amount of chances that geezer has, and he'll score a goal that you think, oh, how the hell he score that? Oh, yeah, great, and then he'll miss one that bloody blatantly obvious. Like it's like watching
How the hell did you
Nketiah.
miss that?
Yeah, it's like
No,
watching Eddie.
Nketiah is better, man. Come on, man.
Oh, I don't know. Eddie Nketiah or Darwin Nunes. That could be a title for a show, couldn't it?
I mean, in terms of missing those kind of crazy chances, I don't think Nketiah misses horrendous ones.
Oh, mate, you should have been there on Saturday.
It hit the inside of the post. What else could he do, man? Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. That's 50-50 at that point.
But yeah, they've got Sheffield United on Wednesday.
Pray for Sheffield United.
Away to Sheffield United, who by that time would have probably sacked Mr. Heckingbottom. I feel a bit sorry for him, to be honest. Like he brought Sheffield United up, they sold their best assets, didn't replace them, and then yeah, and they've said, "Go on, crack on, mate." Yeah, they was going to be the whipping boys. But it could be another whipping. Well, not could be, probably should be. I'm hoping to have a feast there. I sound a bit like Nick at the minute.
You do, mate. You're obsessed.
There is a sense of a familiar fantasy
It's
presence.
because it's probably because he's gone top and he's really smug.
Well,
So yeah, but Fulham are a weird team, aren't they? Like they're not been the Fulham of last season, but I think if they had a proper striker, I think they'd be all right. Like they didn't replace Mitrovic, so maybe that's something they'll do in January. Fair play to Harry Wilson, scored against his old team. I'm happy for him. Yeah, there's not really much else to say about Liverpool. Obviously,
Abdi,
Trent started to score now, and that's
Hello.
your
crazy.
thoughts?
On Liverpool and the game.
Yeah.
Mixed bag. I've said it before. Liverpool, they're defensively, they've been a bit wishy-washy. They're doing business in terms of they getting themselves over the line. They can be got out. Which is as we've seen, and they almost lost that game. They almost lost that game, but it was thanks to Trent's brilliance essentially, that sort of rescued the game for them and got them the 3 points. Who scored the third goal? Someone scored the third goal. I can't remember who scored the third goal, but I think it. No, all they did was scoring bangers. To be fair, though, which is kind of mad. But yeah, Liverpool had to just get the win. They were begging for the draw when they were at that period because of 90 something minute, but they managed to turn it around somehow. That's just typical Liverpool, really. And now they got basically 3 points on a plate for them with Sheffield United coming up. So yeah, it's going to be a feast.
Says it all, really. Feast for Liverpool against Sheffield United. Johnny, have you got anything else to add before I move it on?
Not a lot. I mean, I suppose Liverpool is defensively disappointing. I mean, I think in terms of expected goals conceded across the season, they're actually third in the table for that. So they actually are doing quite well defensively, statistically. But like every team in the Premier League this year, they just seem to concede goals for fun a bit. And the Sheffield United game, they should win fairly comfortably. Maybe 3-4-0 probably will be the score.
I want 8.
It could be.
All of them for Salah.
Yeah, I'll take that, mate.
I mean, they
Let's-
could give the new/old manager bounce. So
Would he be there in time?
they haven't confirmed it as of yet. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
No, their assistant caretaker. Maybe Billy Sharp will come back or something.
Dylan?
Let's move us on to the final game I want to talk about, and it's kind of block. And I want to talk Man City Tottenham. So that game finished 3-3 between the two sides. Tottenham off the back of 2 defeats. And then obviously there was that heated moment for Erling Haaland there as well, plus amongst many others. George, let's get your thoughts. Dedicated Arsenal fan, but you have to say Tottenham have helped you out.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's no suppose about it. They did.
Yeah. Well, good.
Helped you out.
That-
Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice?
It is what it is, isn't it, really?
Nice.
It's what it is, mate.
Isn't it
You're
nice?
not gonna,
Tottenham
you're not,
helped
all right. What's your
You're not
name?
going to get out of it.
What's your name? Randy Goldstein and Jason Cundy. You're trying to pressure me into something. No, it's
Tottenham helped you.
City helped us. City helped us by dropping points. So anyway, talking about the game.
Tottenham made City drop points.
Yeah, technically
You're
VAR.
leaning on him, putting pressure on him.
VAR did technically.
It was nice
Go
to
on,
see
go on, Georgie.
Man City
Go
get
on,
screwed
Georgie.
for a change.
Yeah, but basically, so for an Arsenal point of view, point was probably best because obviously Tottenham were not in the title race after giving it up in October.
They weren't in it, man.
They
No
won
one's in the title race.
They won
No
it.
one's in the title race.
They were ask
If
Jamie
you ask
O'Hara.
someone-
They were champions.
If you ask some Tottenham fans, they were in the title race for that 5 seconds.
Mate, they won it.
That's
Champions.
not a title race. You at least get beyond Christmas, and then we
Abdi,
can say maybe.
for Tottenham, who have not won the title since 1961, that was a title race. Let me tell you.
Yeah, mate. I tell you,
God, nosebleed being that high. Jeez.
yeah, you would, yeah.
Not us. I'm talking about them. They got nosebleed.
Right, I like Adam Rose wannabe Postecoglou. He was like he
Adam
won
Rose was
manager of the month for 3 years on the trot, according to them. But so yeah, anyway. And then it was nice to see Son. He was on a hat trick. Scored an own goal. That made me laugh, especially at see some people's reactions. I just think that I've said
Probably
it
the
all
worst.
season. I said it all season. Like, the City can be got out defensively. Like people get called out for their bad performances, but the defender they bought, what's his name? Cardboard.
Guardiola.
Yeah, Cardboard or whatever his name is.
Well,
Yeah. Like they spent
Relax.
money on him. He's not. He hasn't improved them for me. Not that much, but um, uh, it's one of those things. Like a point. They have a right to feel aggrieved. City. Like I'm not going to say they don't. I do find it ironic how the City fans can shout cheat, though. That I do find that really ironic. Um, and yeah, point was a good result. If Haaland doesn't get suspended, I give up.
He's not. There's no further action for
Oh,
Haaland.
that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but like Arteta gets done for what he gets done. If anyone else does that, like he
if
should be
Man
done.
City does that, then yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I know Man City have been charged, but Haaland,
They've been charged
basically
for
the stuff
something.
he said. Like I've said, they've got more charges and supporters now. So, I just don't understand. Like we're all meant to respect the official as we get told.
They
So
took it as a collective rather than just one singular person. So they charge Man City as a whole rather than just specifically Al Haaland because
ain't really going to
all of them
affect
are
them, though, is it? What are they going
all
to
of
do?
them are there.
They won't deduct points, will they?
This is my issue with City. They always bully the referees. Leave the ref alone. Leave the ref alone.
So,
He's
respect
doing
the
his job.
officials. And then like Guardiola comes out and says, "Oh, I'm not going to make a Mikel Arteta comment." What? Because you're a coward, mate. Just say what you think. At least Arteta had the bottle.
Slow T-tap. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, like
It's funny.
at least like Arteta had the bottle to come out and say it. But there you go. But he'll probably get a touchline ban against Liverpool at Anfield now. So,
I mean,
'cause
he's one card away. Be careful.
well, no, he'll get done anyway because he's been charged with the thing, hasn't he?
Who?
Arteta.
Arteta?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
oh
got
no.
charged. He got charged for the Newcastle thing. So they'll.
No.
I still wonder what the hell it was. Which part of what he said was the one that earned him the charge? But never mind.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I mean, I'm
God
not an
knows.
Arsenal fan, and I think it was ridiculous. But there you go. Anyway,
But yeah, but with City, I feel like they're feeling a bit of the pressure. Like early on. I'm not saying like from like Arsenal or Liverpool or anything like that, but they've dropped a few points this season. Obviously they're going to be without Rodri. Let's all talk about Rodri. And Grealish. So
Suspended.
you're going to Villa, Watkins, Diaby, Douglas Luiz, all them boys against City without Rodri. I think it's at Villa Park.
Yep.
That won't be an easy game for City now, so shame, but don't know. And I'm going to. I think that'll be a draw. To be honest, City Villa. And then going to Tottenham. They've got West Ham. Christ. Song and all them that are probably licking their lips seeing Ariola and West Ham's defence at the minute.
Yeah, you watch West Ham will turn up then.
Yeah, hopefully. But as I say, West Ham are so much better without Declan Rice now. As
They
we're
are so much
as
better.
we're seeing week in week out. But I think Tottenham. I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham go and smash West Ham like 4-5-0.
What a prediction, eh?
They're just, and you have to, even as an Arsenal fan, like Postecoglou's doing an okay job. That's as much as you're going to get.
I mean, that's more than I ever expected. So to be honest, I'll take that.
Well,
Abdi, move on to you then.
Harold from Neighbours, he'll be gone next year.
Okay.
Abdi, your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Spurs just continue to be City's weird bogey team, and seem to cause them issues. Usually it's at their ground, but occasionally you'll get out of the Etihad.
Empty head.
And yeah, and we saw it happen on Sunday. It was a good game to watch for the neutral. Um, I, I guess I was a neutral, but
No,
I
he
I would
wasn't.
I'd be lying if I wasn't saying that I'd rather seen City lose at that point, and City
Yeah,
lose every game. So
had his Spurs top on.
I don't have a Spurs top, but
He
I
had
do
his
have a Spurs tie somewhere.
he had his Spurs sunny top on.
No, I did not. I did not. But yes. Started off well, Son getting the goal, and then after Son then deciding, hey, I'm going to score again, but got spun around and accidentally hit it into his own net, which was not fun fantasy wise, but he did rectify that with an assist. So it's not the worst in the thing in the world, but still, those two points would have been nice. But as for the actual game itself. I agree with George. City's defensively, they've been a bit weird and shaky and a bit all over the place. They haven't been like you look at their last few games. They conceded four to Chelsea. They conceded, conceded against Liverpool, and there was another game in there. I think it was oh yeah, no, that was it. They drew their last few games. That's what I'm trying to say. They conceded two against Leipzig as
Chelsea,
well.
Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, they conceded two in the Champions League to Leipzig as well. So and their defense have been a bit shimmy shaky. You know
I
what I
say,
mean?
I think they missed John Stones. Massive.
Yes, that's a big key in their missing defense. Yeah, and it was just good to see Spurs knock City down a bit and you know just trip them up, give them a little bit of a tickle. I don't know. I don't know what's the best way of putting it, but um, I did chuckle when I saw the referee absolutely screw City over though. Realistically, if that happened to any of our teams, you'd be fuming, you know? One on one of the goalkeeper, you say you play the advantage and then you bring it back to give a foul. And it's like, really? Really? But couldn't have happened to a nicer team, couldn't it? So everything's gone for them pretty much this season that they deserve something to go against them. And to be fair, out of everything, that is not the most egregious of them all in terms of what's happened. I feel like a lot of teams could argue worse. And to be fair, those were more VAR interventions. This was just a referee blunder, if you could say that, I guess. Um, but going into the Villa game, um, without Rodri, without Grealish, ironic Grealish does not get to play at Villa Park. You know, he's shook in his boots. But I'm back in Villa for this game. I feel like without Rodri,
What,
City
backing Villa for the win?
back in Villa for the win. Yeah. I feel like without Rodri, City lose something within that midfield, that control, um, and with how their defense is at the moment in terms of conceding quite a bit, then without their best player as well in midfield, then it could be even worse for them, I guess. Um, and I feel like with Villa at Villa Park, they are a different sort of team when they play at home. Um, so yeah, I am back in Villa for the win.
Could be a
Uh,
very good
do not
evening.
do not ask me for a score. I have no score in mind, but I just see Villa at the end celebrating 3 points.
So score prediction then.
I said, don't ask me for a score.
That's why do you think I've asked you? Go on.
I have no clue. 3-1 Villa. Okay, there you go.
Wow. Okay. Okay, Johnny. Let's see what's your what's your views on this? Actually, no. Well, Abdi, Tottenham, West Ham. Have you given thought?
Oh, sorry. Yes. That's their ground. So yeah, I think Tottenham at the moment they are cripple FC in terms of and suspension FC. They're running off the NHS. Um, do have Reckless Romero back, so they wouldn't have to play Emerson, Ben Davis as both fullbacks as centre back, which is absolutely mad. And something I do have to quickly credit Ange Postecoglou for, not compromising on his sort of play style and still going for it even whenever his team's crippled. So it might be suicidal and stupid at sometimes, and people say, "Brother, sort it out, chill out, just shop." Sometimes he's just attack. And part of me respects him because it's like listen, you're doing what you need to do. You're not compromising on your principles, and you're showing Tottenham that this is our way of playing. And eventually, he might bear the fruits from it going forward. And he was for a while. But unfortunately, Madison and others got injured, and not good for them. But against West Ham, I could see it being a draw. I do think Spurs could, if they don't, like, if Son doesn't keep falling into an offside trap and stays on side, they could bag. But I'm gonna edge it to a draw. Yeah, 1-1.
West Ham.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just sometimes Spurs are
It's
just
a
a bit
derby
weird.
as well. Keep this in mind.
Spurs,
Derby.
okay, you know what? No. I'll say Spurs win 2-1. There you go.
Oh, coward! They got pushed into an answer.
I was leaning with Spurs anyway in terms of I feel like they could
I
have,
want to
but
hear from
you know.
you. Coward.
Okay. I'm
They
sorry.
pushed
I'm
the
sorry.
pressure.
I will
to
return. I promise.
You've done a Guardiola.
bowing down to peer pressure.
He done a Guardiola.
Yeah.
One brother was like, he did have to make laugh that Guardiola basically had to beg his supporters to make noise before the game.
That happens every game, doesn't it?
For a
He
team
does. He has
team
to pull that out every time.
That's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but it's been a common factor with Man City. Johnny, let's get your thoughts. What would you say on the chaos of Sunday and obviously the midweek situation?
I think most of what happened in the game has been covered quite well. I think the one thing we haven't highlighted was how did Haaland not get a goal in that game? I mean, he had loads of golden opportunities to score in the first half. Just didn't. I don't know. He can blow hot and cold a bit, can't he? He was in a good run of form, and when they need him most, he doesn't score, which is a bit, not the greatest. But and I think even Alvarez had a golden chance to score in that game. So they just seem to be lacking a bit of the cutting edge, don't they, City, especially when they can't defend. So it was a game where you probably expected Tottenham to get something, but Son, he always scores against Man City, doesn't he? So it's somewhat predictable, but
Yeah, well, he scores against Man City this time. He even scored for them, so
he did as well. Yes, he gave them a gift and still managed to get a point off them.
But I will say it's very Spursy of Son to score twice away at Man City and still not win.
Yeah. I don't know, man. No one was really expecting him to win. You know, especially with going with Emerson Royale and Ben Davies. People were saying City be licking their lips.
Mate, good players. Don't get the dessert.
Well, I mean, City probably should have put Spurs away in the first half. If they put their chances away,
they probably did. They probably should have, but they didn't.
Oh, Johnny, are you backing Villa for the win against Man City in the midweek?
I'm not too sure about this game. It's one of those ones where you don't know, but City will want to bounce back, won't they? So Pep might just put his foot down and I don't know, it could be like 3-1 to City, or it could go the other way, couldn't it? But with Watkins up front, he can cause damage.
Which way is it going to go?
Go on, Ollie.
I'm going to say Man City will bounce back and win 3-1.
You sure about that, Johnny?
I'm not sure. I could go the other way.
That extended noise just... Hey, going Spurs West Ham then, what are your thoughts on that? Because George said Spurs 5-0, Abdi got pressured into a score prediction. What are you going to say?
I reckon Spurs should win this one. West Ham, they're not a team that can defend this season at all. I think they're third bottom for expected goals conceded. Spurs should score 2 goals probably, and maybe West Ham will score 1, so I'll go 2-1.
It's like I say to Abdi, it's an easy win for Tottenham.
Well, it should be.
Oh, God. He's started again now.
We know what that means, doesn't it, when George says
West Ham winning. Put it down, guys.
It's an easy win for Tottenham. Brackets, come on the Hammers. So there we go.
I mean, he hates West Ham just as much as he hates Tottenham at the moment.
I don't.
I don't think so.
I mean, the way he talks about West Ham at the moment, you know, sometimes. But I don't know.
Newcastle, maybe.
I think Newcastle are the closer to Tottenham's hatred level, but I don't think...
I can't stand Varcastle, I'm telling you. Can't be having them.
Crazy.
West Ham, they just get salty, mate. They lose their best player and then they say they're better and then they say no champions of Europe. Mate, you won a competition that was made for teams like you.
Poundland champions of Europe, probably you could say.
Sorry.
Champions of the galaxy.
Ah,
So yeah.
Chocolate bar, maybe. So yeah, there we go. That's the show. So there's a preview of the midweek action a bit. So hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy the chaos as always. So yes, the next time we'll be back will be the FPL show. George and Matt back again with their various fantasy.
For me, as
well, yesterday it has been a nightmare for a lot of
all
people.
I say to people that want to watch it, there will be mentions begrudgingly for Ollie Watkins and Charlie Taylor that was sitting on my bench.
Yeah.
Oh, the
What a
pain.
shame.
I did have the Charlie Taylor pain. I will say that, but and I had Lascelles. I don't know why he brought Matty Cash on. I was expecting Matty Cash not to play when I saw
I don't know
him.
why he
and then I was
brought
like,
bloody Palmer on. If he didn't even
And,
Palmer on, Watkins, but we move.
We moved.
if there was no Palmer or Lascelles, I would have got Charlie Taylor and Jamal Lascelles points, and that would have been
Tune in for the fantasy show, and also it'd be
16
quite
points.
interesting because it will be our first fantasy show where we'll be, live during a game week. So it'll be all interesting to talk about. You'll be getting updates from Everton versus Newcastle, which
Good luck, fellas.
3-0 Everton.
3-0 have been all right.
I mean, anything's possible. You never know.
On a serious note, quickly before we finish, I would not bet against Everton beating Newcastle.
You never know
Yeah,
because
but not. I wouldn't say 3-0.
No, not 3-0. Maybe like 1-0 or 2-1.
Not 5-0 then.
No, 6.
Georgie will be bouncing all over the place if that happens.
I was going to say,
if we do,
his live reaction.
It's only better when Nick's around.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm sure Nick will be around, but if we'll
We'll make sure he is.
We'll see. Well, we'll see. We'll probably hear it in the WhatsApp group. Do not worry. So yes, we will be back on Thursday with the FPL show. In the meantime, we do have a WhatsApp group if you want to get a bit more of what you're getting on the show, but with much more time.
And here's CM Punk at the Emirates. You can always do that in the WhatsApp group.
So yeah, you can tune in there. Join us. Let us know if you want to. We've got Twitter at Golden Goal TV, and of course we've got the Facebook group. We've got this channel here. So if you want to subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, and remember, if you have subscribed, click that bell icon to receive all the notifications, so you know when the stream starts, and you can join in and watch the shows. Alternatively, watch on demand and put your comments in there if you want to tell us what you think. So yes, thank you Abdi, thank you Johnny and George. Yeah, we will be back on Thursday.
Cool.
Bye.